right, y'all. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Thumb. Give us a sincere greeting to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity. Brother Feeney is here. Wednesday's class. And I'm here trying to just wait on my slides to get ready to pop up. And once my slides arrive in my email, we will get this thing. Started, man. I know y'all hungry for the word. Let me see the invites in here. Man, hope everybody had a just a blessed midweek, man. All those we got a lot of brothers celebrating tabernacles. Those on that dark moon celebrating tabernacles right now, man. Hope y'all doing all right, man. If you're in Georgia, man, it might be a little rainy, man. It's a little rainy. It's been raining all day today. Just all praise, man. We got I think this might be my first tabernacles without any rain, man. It was man, without any rain, where I was able to bring that stuff home without it being all muddy and have all this stuff all over the place, man. So, man, thank the Most High for that thing. Shalom, Mark.
Shalom.
All right, we do got these slides here. We gotta download these things now. We're gonna be going over King Hezekiah. Just dealing with some of the history within Israel with these kings and so forth, man. I know we don't like the history. We don't like to go into them second kings and them first kings and them chronicles. We don't like the historical text too much, but there are some gems. There are some gems within the historical text. Yeah, we may miss out on because we don't want to search those things out. So we've been heavy in that New Testament. You see a little taste of the old present slides. Your computer. Oh man, like I ain't got time for that, man. Hold on, y'all. Export PDF. I don't know why that file is so big that it won't let me share it. Choose one that's smaller. Video file. I don't know. I wonder if it's because I got these pictures and stuff in there. Let me take some of these pictures out. And this is the first time I ever seen this where it's saying my file is too big.
That's what that thing was telling me.
Right. But it's talking about for my slides.
Right.
I do got a lot of pictures in here though. Let me see if that would export PDF. Share. Dang. We got to be down to 50. Oh man, that is a bummer. Let me try one more thing. I'm gonna try to send half of it. Export. Print.
As much as I was truly looking forward to today.
Share. Print background. Shalakia, y'all trying to get y'all these slides, but we may have to go without the slides. But y'all really do need these images, but I'm gonna just pull them up and share my screen and pull some of them up. If I can get these things. Nope. All right. Delete draft. Alright, y'all. King Hezekiah, trusted in Yahweh. Y'all just gonna have to. You're not gonna have the slides on screen, but I may hit the comments. I may type this stuff in. I ain't gonna promise y'all if I'm gonna be on it, but we're gonna start with King Ahaz. When we're trying to learn about Hezekiah, we're gonna delve a little bit into his father and his reign, and before that, until we get to get some understanding on Hezekiah. So how we gonna cut that section out? Let me add him to the screen. Shalom out.
Hey, shalom,
So we're gonna start with 2 Kings 16, and we're gonna read 1 through 9, dealing with King Ahaz. 2 Kings 16. We're gonna read 1 through 9. Most of this we're gonna be in 2 Kings, Chronicles, a little Isaiah.
Second Kings 16.
2 Kings 16, 1 through 9. Bible Kasha.
This is I got this ain't the KJV. This is the Gideon's International Bible, so it might be a little off. So just give me your head up.
Yeah, God. We'll let me see if I can share my screen. Some days I do, but just makes my life easier. Okay, you may not be able to read off of that thing though. Let me see. What I said, 2 Kings 16. Can you see my screen now?
All
right.
That's a little too small to read, but.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
Hold on, let me turn it sideways.
Oh, it's over with.
All right. Second Kings 16 and verse 1. In the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord.
Look at Ahaz making his sons pass through the fire. He didn't do like David. His heart wasn't like David's. All right, like his father's. He was making his son pass through the fire of Moloch. Go ahead, Akshalaki.
And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem, Shalakia, uh, to to what
Came to Jerusalem to war.
to war, and they besieged Ahaz, but could not overcome him.
So we listen to what we got here. We got Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, son of Remaliah, king of Israel. So we got Syria and the king of Israel. Okay, you got the king of Syria and the king of Israel. They've come up to besiege Ahaz, and they've come up to Jerusalem to war. All right, to besiege Ahaz. You got the northern kingdom. All right, and they done teamed up with Syria to come up against Jerusalem. Go ahead.
At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, recovered Elath to Syria and drave the Jews from Elath, and the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messages to Tiglath, Tiglath-Pil,
Pauser.
Tiglath-Pilser, king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rise up against me.
So we see Ahaz. They done double team me. They got me double team. He's reaching out to Assyria, the king of Assyria, to tell them, hey man, you know what? We need help. Man, I'm your servant, man. Just come help us against Israel, the king of Israel, the kingdom of Israel, and against Syria. Go ahead.
And Ahaz took the silver and gold that was found in the house of the Lord and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus and took it, and carried the people of it captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tilgapilzer, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. Keep going.
Yeah, just finish that last verse and then we'll get about it. We got what we wanted though.
Verse 11. And Urijah, the priest, built an altar according to all the king Ahaz had sent from Damascus. So Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz, came from Damascus.
So we see, we still see Ahaz dealing with these abominations, dealing with these other idols, even getting, after they received the help from Assyria and Syria pushed back, Assyrians pushed back Syria for them. They looked at that altar that they had built there and was like, you know what? He got the priest, man. Hey man, draw that thing up, man. We gonna make one just like that. We gonna make one just like it and put it down there with us. Let's look at Second Chronicles 28. We gonna read 3 through 11. It's gonna give us a little more on that thing. I actually had a picture of that. That's probably why it was so large, because I had pictures of that altar. They done found these artifacts. They found certain stone like toilets that will sit inside of the that would be inside of the temples, so one could desecrate the temple. You can go in there and desecrate it. um they found those things also. um but we talking about Hezekiah is gonna reform Israel and get us back on track for the most part. What I say, Second Chronicles 28. We're gonna read 3 through 11.
Chronicles.
3 through 11. Then we're gonna jump down to 23 through 25. Just showing how abominable King Ahaz is before we get to and some other stuff too before we get to King Hezekiah. It's gonna be a little reading here.
Con. You said Second Chronicles 28, 3 through 11.
Con.
Con. This is the book of Second Chronicles 28, 3 through 11. Say, moreover, he burnt incense in the valley of the son of Hananel, and burnt his children in the fire, after the abomination of the heathens, whom the Lord had cast out before the children of Israel. He sacrificed also and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Wherefore the Lord his God delivered him in the hands of the king of Assyria. And they smote him and carried away a great multitude of them captives and brought them to Damascus. And he was also delivered into the hands of the king of Israel, who
Con. So we
smote
see
him. Like,
we're seeing the same thing. We reading the same thing, just written. Some have a little different writers, some have a little more details. But we see Ahaz, this again with the Northern Kingdom, then allied with Syria. They have, smitten a lot of folks in Jerusalem and have taken them captive under the reign of Ahaz. Being that he's been doing all these abominable things, sacrificing, even sacrificing those children to Moloch. Once the Most High see that, man, it's over with. Like he he's getting involved at that point. He ain't gonna let that go on too long. Um, but we reading that same account, y'all. Go ahead, Shalaki.
kind, who smote him with a great slaughter. And Pekah, the son of Ramalaha, slew in Judah 120,000 in one day,
Mm.
which were all what is that?
Valiant.
Valiantly men, because they had forsaken the Lord God of their fathers.
Mm.
And Zechariah and Zechariah and mighty man of Ephraim slew Messiah, the king's son, and Acharam, the governor of the house of Elkanah, that was next to the king. And the children of Israel carried away captives of their brethren 200,000 women, sons, and daughters, and took also away much spoil from them. And
Con,
with the spoil, it's like,
I just want to say something in between that. You see, just the
okay,
numbers, man. 120,000 killed in one day. And it's just a war between, this just a war. This is just a little a basic war between us and our brothers, and us being both allied, trying to join forces with these other nations to help us again, understanding the political climate, understanding how these things are, how we're working. Even back here, in the time of Hezekiah and time of Ahaz, early within the split. And then also, 120,000 women, sons, and daughters. And the men gone. Men, I'm saying, these men, they done been slaughtered, man. There's remnants of them scattered around, but they've been slaughtered out, man. And they done took captive 120,000 women,
200,000.
Shalakia. 200,000 women,
uh,
sons, and daughters, and took away, the silver and the gold. Go ahead, Shalakia.
kind. And it said, and brought the spoils to Samaria. But a prophet of the Lord was there, whose name was Oded. And he went out before the host that came to Samaria, and said unto them, Behold, because the Lord God of your fathers was wroth with Judah, he have delivered them into your hands, and ye have slain them in a rage that reaches up unto the heavens.
Con, you remember what? Who else slayed somebody and then it reached up to the heaven?
Um, who else slayed and reached up to the heaven?
Somebody slayed somebody and it reached up to the heaven, and God had to intervene.
Oh,
It's simple. It ain't complicated. It's not a. You ain't gotta dig
then a trick
deep. You
question.
know it. Nah, it ain't a trick question, but it's I ain't giving you a lot of information. Cain,
Right.
Cain,
Okay. Okay.
Cain, Yeshaya, Huda,
Yeah.
uh, put that thing in there. Cain. That thing reached up. You know what I'm saying? And then we have two brothers, two. You know what I'm saying? We nations. We two. We know we the same people.
Right.
Two brothers again, man, slanging each other, and that thing has reached up to the heavens. Come
Yeah.
go ahead. We had one more verse or no?
Verse 10.
Verse 11. Yeah, okay. Verse 10. We're gonna go down to 11.
Okay. And now ye propose to keep under the children of Judah and Jerusalem for bondmen and bondwomen unto you. But are there not with you, even with you, sins against the Lord your God? Now hear me therefore, and deliver the captives again, which ye have taken captives of your brethren. For the fierce wrath of the Lord is upon you.
Come, we see that fierce wrath. Let's drop down to verse 23 and 25. I said we're gonna have a lot of reading here, but it's gonna be some entertaining reads. It's not gonna be just even like this war here that's going on between Israel and its ally in Jerusalem.
Come. Verse 23. And he sacrificed unto the God of Damascus. To the gods of Damascus, which smote him. And he said, because the gods of the king of Syria helped them, therefore would I sacrifice to them, that they may help me. But they were the ruins of him and of all Israel. And, and Hadazaz, what is that?
Ahaz.
Ahaz gathered together the vessels of the house of God and cut in pieces the vessels of the house of God and shut up the doors of the house of the Lord. And he made him altars in every corner of Jerusalem.
Mm. Just read 25 and then we'll move on.
Come. And in every several cities of Judah he made high places to burn incense unto other gods and provoke to anger the Lord God of his fathers.
So you see, we read, and that's why we had to read. We have to, when we read it in Kings, we have to go and read it in Chronicles to get a little more meat, and vice versa. But we seen in Kings where he wanted the priest. He said, he told that priest, man, go get the measurements of that altar, man. We taking that thing back. We gonna make us an altar, also. You know what I'm saying? Once they allied with the Assyrians pushed back Syria, and when they pushed them back, what I'm saying, went back into Damascus. um he seen these things set up, and then he wanted to make the same things like the Syrians. He looked at that thing and said, man, we need to make us one like that. That God that must have been helping them, and yet just envying the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? Envying the oppressor, envying that power that they had, not understanding that the Most High is using them to destroy you because of the abominations that you're doing, because of the idols that you're sitting up here worshiping. He's using the other nations, but Ahaz couldn't see that thing. He's using other nations to bring that wrath on them. Even when Oded, the prophet, even came and told him what was going on, he still was blinded to that thing. Um, I don't know if y'all can see that. Can y'all see that?
A little bit.
I'm trying
What
to
is that?
look it in the.
That's the temple,
That's the ark.
Yeah, that's
Like,
the altar.
the
yeah.
altar.
Let me see if I could do this. Boom. Hold on. I'm like I'm in one of them mirror houses. But I know y'all can't see it that good, but
Yeah.
con. So Hezekiah, 13th king of Judah, righteous king, not to be compared with any of his successors or predecessors, reigned 715 BC to 686 BC. 715 BC to 686 BC, known as a king of reformation. And during his time, Isaiah and Micah prophesied during his reign. Isaiah and Micah prophesied during his reign. And ultimately, this is where we want to be. We want to be at a point where we know where, we know where each king and who is prophesying to that king. Who's prophesying to Ahab, who's prophesying to Hezekiah, who's prophesying doing Ahaz, who's prophesying doing Jehoshaphat. We want to get to that point where we can and then the book will get smaller. You know what I'm saying? The book will get smaller for us, and that's what Kings and Chronicles. That's what these things are. This history is here for. Let's look at Second Chronicles 18, and we'll be talking about a little bit Jehoshaphat, but we'll see some of this beef still within Israel and Jerusalem, because that's big beef, man. You can kill 200,000. That's big beef. That ain't, you done knocked down 200,000, you killed 120 in a day, 120,000 in a day. And allied against these other folks, man, against these other nations. But yeah, man, we gonna read some stuff in here, man, that you just gonna see, man. Israel just like, man. Like, hey, come on now.
You said that's Second Chronicles 18?
18, we really need to just go ahead. I think we need to go a lot farther in this, but go ahead though. We're gonna read 1 through 14.
This is Second Chronicles chapter 18 and verse 1. Now Jehoshaphat had riches and honor in abundance, and joined affinity with Ahab.
And joined
And after
affinity with Ahab. What that mean? And joined affinity with Ahab. And sometimes, like I say, man, when I read it, I had, oh, well, let me see, what does that mean? I had to look that thing up, but it just means to,
Allies.
uh,
That's word. Is that right?
nah, but it's close. He married. They married. You know what I'm saying? He married in. He kind
Okay.
of gave his son to be married, and that's how they kind of join forces a little bit. But it's kind of on that same brim of but it was through marriage that they made that thing happen.
verse 2. And after certain years he went down to Ahab to Samaria, and Ahab killed sheep and oxen for him in abundance, and for the people that he had with him, and persuaded him to go up with him to Ramoth Gilead. And Ahab, king of Israel, said unto Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, wilt thou go with me to Ramoth Gilead? And
Shalakia
he,
too. Like it's just sad that we even have to, that we even have to try to call this truce, with marriage, man. This is Israel and this is Judah. Like it's just sad that we at that point. Um, and then when this thing does jump down, man, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Will you go to war with me? This is the question being asked here, man. You gonna come to war with me? We go up against Ramoth Gilead. Go ahead, Shalaki.
and he answered him, I am as thou art, and my people as thy people, and we will be with thee in the war. And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, Inquire, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today. Therefore the king of Israel gathered together of prophets 400 men, and said unto them, Shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? And they said, Go up, for good, for God will deliver it into the king's hand.
Khan. So we see the king of Israel. You know how Israel align their prophets. If you are familiar with it, But they kind of was just choosing people. It wasn't no Levites or nothing like that. Wasn't no Aaron's priesthood. Um,
Willy
it
nilly.
was, yeah, yeah, yeah. They was winging that thing, but they got 400. They got 400 prophets. Israel has 400 prophets saying, "Yeah, go ahead." And what I say we have to read this because this is a problematic text here. This is dealing with the I'll send down a lion spirit, and sometimes we get tripped up on this thing. And well, would God do that? And you have apologies, and God, what kind of God does me send down a lion spirit? But when we read the whole thing in context, you'll see what's going on. And again, how the Most High is moving these pieces. We already know um how he feels about, what I'm saying, just both kingdoms at this point, man, dealing with these abominable these idols. But go ahead. But yeah, we probably gonna read down to about we probably gonna read down to about 27, 28.
This is verse 6. But Jehoshaphat said, "Is there not here a prophet of the Lord besides that we might inquire of him?" And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, "There is yet one man by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him, and he never prophesied good unto me, but always evil. The same is Micaiah, the son of Imlah." And Jehoshaphat said, "Let not the king say so." And the king of Israel called for one of his officers and said, "Fetch me Micaiah, the son of Imlah."
All right, so the
And
king, the king tell the other king, like, listen, man, don't talk like that about the prophet. You know what I'm saying? Let's go see what the prophet has to say. But the king, he like, man, listen, man. Every time I don't like that joker, man. King Israel, I don't like that. Every time he prophesy, it's always something evil, man. We hate of the prophets, man. You know what I'm saying? And we hate of those that rebuke at the gate. Um, and so, like, man, I don't want to deal with that joker. He's like, man, hey, man, don't talk like that, man. Let's see what he's talking about. Go ahead.
verse 9, and the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, sat either of them on his throne, clothed in their robes, and they sat in a void place at the entering in of the gate of Samaria, and all the prophets prophesied before them. And Zedekiah, the son of Chenanah, had made him horns of iron, and said, "Thus saith the Lord, with these thou shalt push Syria until they be consumed." And all the prophets prophesied so, saying, "Go up to Ramoth Gilead and prosper, for the Lord shall deliver it into the hand of the king." And the messenger that went to call Micaiah spake to him, saying, "Behold, the words of the prophets declare good to the king with one assent. Let thy word, therefore, I pray thee, be like one of theirs, and speak thou good."
So he look like, all right, man. Israel want to hear them smooth words. What? Look what the messages that came and said. Listen, man, these folks already listen. We already got 400 prophets already together saying, we gonna overtake this land. We gonna overtake these folks. Going up the rim off Gilead and overtake this thing. Please, brother. Hey, before you get here, man, let that word be the same, man. Let that thing be the same, man. You know what I'm saying, so we can go and do what we need to do. Go ahead.
And Micaiah said, "As the Lord liveth, even what my God saith, that will I speak."
Mm.
And when he was come to the king said unto him, "Micaiah, shall we go to Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear?" And he said, "Go ye up and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand." And the king said to him, "How many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of the Lord?"
And see, we miss this right here. We miss it's a little emotion right here that we miss. Um, it says, and he said, "Go ye up and prosper, and they shall be delivered into your hand." And the king said to him, "How many times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing?" But the king didn't believe him. The king seen that he was kind of speaking sarcastically. All right, the king didn't believe him, and he said, "How many times I gotta ask you to stop lying to me, man? How many times? Just speak the truth, man. Tell me the truth. Do we need to go up there or not?" the prophet has a little, yeah, man, yeah, you'll win. Go on up there, man. You gonna prosper, man. It's gonna be great for you, man. Go on up there. Go ahead up there. Now watch what the priest knew.
And the king said
I
to
mean the
him, "How
prophet
many
should like.
times shall I adjure thee that thou say nothing but the truth to me in the name of the Lord?" Then he said, "I did see all Israel scattered upon the mountain as sheep that have no shepherd. And the Lord said, These have no master. Let them return, therefore, every man to his house in peace." And the king of Israel said to Josaphat, "Did I not tell thee that he would not prophesy good unto me, but evil?" Again he said, "Therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing on his right hand and on his left. And the Lord said, Who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall to Ramoth Gilead?"
Mm.
And one
So
spake,
listen,
said,
listen. The Lord said, "Come on now." Again, He said, "Therefore, hear the word of the Lord." Oh, Shalakia. And the Lord said, "Who will entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go on up there to Ramoth Gilead?" Like these things have already. What we about to read now is already was already established before, and you're gonna see that by the prophets. Let's keep reading here.
and one spake, saying after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord said, Thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so.
Con. Now I see the brother asks, was the lion spirit a demon in heaven realm? I can't. All we can do is speculate on, like, on those holy things. But all we know is that this angel did what he was told. The Most High, he offered a proposition, not a proposition, but an answer. I could go down here and be a lion spirit and tell and prophesy and make all his prophets. Prophesy a lie. And this is what we see with the 400 prophets already telling them, hey man, you gonna make it, you gonna do it, all of them on one accord, doing this. It's just Micah now just relaying this message, but this thing has already Micah already knows this thing has already happened. Even when the messenger done went to him and told him, hey man, everybody's on one accord, Micah already know, yeah, it is on one accord, because he done sent the lion spirit, man. He done sent the lion spirit to tell these folks, to give these folks that prophecy. Now again, who's he's giving the prophecy to? The priests that are in Israel, who are not Levites, who doing all kind of idolatrous uh things, doing all kind of abominable things. So can I say if he on the left hand, he on the right side or whatnot? I just know he's obedient in doing, because at that point he's saying thou, he's giving a command. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt do that. He tell you, okay, well, I can go down there and do that. But then he's commanded by the Most High, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. All right. So he's not only telling him that, yeah, man, you go entice him. It's going to work. I'm going to make sure it works. And I'm going to make sure that, what I'm saying, you prevail in that thing. Go ahead and do what you need to do. But like I said, this thing had already been written out. We just watching it play out at this point. All right, so who's going to do that? Who's going to make that? Because he's, he want Ahab to come down. He want that wrath to come down upon him. And this is how he's going to make these things happen. And a lot of times he just uses these other nations. It's almost like him putting a stone in hardening Pharaoh's heart. And then on the opposite end, with Artaxerxes and in the Persians releasing us. So that's how the Most High moves all the pieces on the chessboard. You know what I'm saying? But most of these things, all we can do is speculate all this stuff above our heads, above our understanding. So I can't really, answer that, whether it was a demon or whether it was and how that whole realm actually works to the fullest. I just gotta deal with what the text is saying, and we can do that, and we don't have to argue from darkness or argue from a point where we don't know. All we can do is speculate, and we can come up with some stuff to sound good. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that wrong with that? But we just gotta know with that. Some things is just not in it for us to know. Where we was
Verse
at?
22.
Verse 22.
Now therefore, behold, the Lord hath put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and the Lord hath spoken evil against thee. Then Zedekiah, the son of Chinana, came near and smote Micaiah upon the cheek and said, Which way went the spirit of the Lord from me to speak unto thee? And
Mm,
Micaiah said, Behold, thou shalt see on that day when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. Then the king of Israel said, Take ye Micaiah and carry him back to Amon, the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son, and say, Thus saith the king, Put this fellow in the prison and feed him with bread of affliction and with water of affliction until I return in peace.
mm.
And Micaiah said, If thou certainly return in peace, then have not the Lord spoken by me. And he said, Hearken, all ye people.
Man, you know how scary that is, man. Now you done slapped the prophet. Not only did you slap the prophet, but you threw him in jail, gave him bread of affliction. He gave you this bad prophecy that you didn't like. That you pretty much gonna die out there, you know. And he throws him in there, and then the last thing he says to him is, "Yeah, man. If what I said don't come to try, if you come back and you make it in peace, if you make it back here in peace, then God didn't speak to me. He didn't prophesy to me, man. You just tell him, man, you gonna die out there. Don't worry, you're going to die." And just for reading purposes, it's a little off. It ain't really off, but just to finish, just to get a little more of the story, man, just keep on reading, and we'll see what he does to try to get out of this path, man. But this thing like some final destination stuff, man. Once you mark, that's it, man. Once the Most High mark you with that devil, that's it. That's it, man. You ain't gonna be able to get out of that thing. Go ahead, Op.
So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and will go to the battle, but put thou on thy robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went to the battle.
So this
Now,
man done told me, I done found out that you finna get more. Hey, man, you dress like me. You dress like you the royal one, man. I'm gonna put on a disguise. I'm gonna try to trick the Lord. I'm gonna try to trick him. Go ahead, Op.
now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, Fight ye not with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat that they said, It is the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Lord helped him, and God moved them to depart from him.
Now look at that, man. Now these folks, the king of Syria done told them, don't go for nobody but the king. All I want, don't waste your time with these little jokers and these mighty jokers. All I want is the king of Israel. That's all I want. And so now they done switch clothes. The king of Israel is really in disguise. Jehoshaphat, he has on his royal garments. I don't know how he let him trick him into doing that. But he got on his royal garments. They done went after him. And now, what I'm saying, and watch this now. Jehoshaphat cries out to the Lord. He cries out to the Lord. He's already outnumbered. Ain't nothing you can do. When you get surrounded, and that's one of the lessons we can take here from this story is, man, you are surrounded, you are compassed about with the enemy, man. Ain't nothing you can do, man. Cry out to the Lord, man. Cry out to the Father. A lot of us too mighty, man. A lot of us too mighty to cry out to the Lord. Be sitting there holding that thing, man. You know what I'm saying? Go down with the ship, man. Cry out to the Lord. Trust in the Father. So Jehoshaphat trusts in the Father. He cries out, and the Lord helps him. And he moved, and God moved them to depart from him. So he made these folks depart. He intervened and made these folks separate away from Jehoshaphat, king of Jerusalem. Go ahead.
For it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again from pursuing him. And a certain man drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Therefore he said to his chariotmen, turn thine hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, for I am wounded. And the battle increased that day. Howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the even. And about that time, the sun going down, he died.
Con. And that adventure, man, like that's Joker just shot an arrow. It was just a random arrow. Random arrow that end up piercing in between his armor, that end up killing him. Joker wasn't even aiming to shoot him, but that's the Most High. You know what I'm saying? He's guiding that whole experience. Everybody is being moved by the Most High in that, and we just got to deal with the text. That's what it's. Everybody's being moved in place by the Most High in that story there. This is remember I was telling y'all about them stools, man. Can that phone? Can he? It's just so much light. Oh, never mind, y'all. Why are you trusting in the Lord? Got a threat coming from the kings of Assyria. Let's look at Isaiah 36. We're gonna read 5 through 21. Where we at with time? Okay. Pushing it a little bit. Isaiah 36, 5 through 21.
God. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 36, verse 5. And I say, sayest thou, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strict for war. Now on whom dost thou trust, that thou rebellest against me? Lo, thou trusted in thy staff of this broken reed on Egyptian, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt to all that trust in him. But if thou say to me, we trust in the Lord our God, is it not he whose high place and whose altar Hezekiah have taken away, and said to Judah and to Jerusalem, ye shall worship before this altar? Now therefore give pledges, I pray thee, to my master the king of Assyria, and I will give thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able on thy part to set riders upon them.
Conshalaki, and so just to give a little context, Hezekiah is now we jumping over to Hezekiah. He's in rulership and he's going up against of course the Assyrians. And we seen earlier that Ahab, when he was using them to help him with the northern kingdom when they allied with Syria. And now we see Hezekiah going against the Assyrians, and Hezekiah has put away a lot of these things. He's put away all the altars that his father had put up, man. He's putting away all of those things, all of those altars he's destroyed. And this message from the king of Assyria, he's trying to tell them, listen, man, you can try to trust into the gods of Egypt like they did, man, and they got destroyed. You can try to trust in those gods and all those altars that your king done tore down, and then just making mockery with the 200 horses, man. Y'all ain't got 2,000 horses. Y'all ain't got 2,000 men to put these horses on.
Con,
Y'all can keep them if you can show me you got 2,000 that can get on them, man. You can keep them horses, man. But just come bow down, man. You should get down and lay down message, man. That's like that message. Y'all remember that 300 and that joker ended up kicking them in that well. But this is one of those type of messengers. Go ahead, Akshalaki.
con. Verse 9. And then will thou turn away the face of one captain of least of my master's servant, and put thy trust on Egypt for chariots and for horsemen. And am I now come up without the Lord against this land to destroy it? The Lord said unto me, Go up against this land and destroy it. Then said Echlim, and Shebna, and Jonah, and Rabashakaya, Speak, I pray thee, unto thy servant in the Syrians' language, for we understand it, and speak not to us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall.
And the Syrian language is Aramaic. Now speak to us in Aramaic. We understand it. Don't speak to us. Don't speak to us in Hebrew. Go ahead,
Kind. But Rabashakaya said, Have my master sent me to thy master and to thee to speak these words? Have he not sent me to the men and set upon the wall, that they may eat their own dung and drink their own piss with you? Then Rabashakaya stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and said, Hear ye the words of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus said the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you.
Shalaki, this joker knew both languages, man. This joker knew both languages. We knew both, like, because the trading, and again, I'm just saying that just so we can understand that we were picking up. So just to have a understanding of the social climate. You know what I'm saying? We're going into certain captivities, us dealing with certain individuals, man. You pick up these languages, your kids pick up these languages, and the other nations also pick up these languages. They'll pick up your language also. That I'm just speculating. You would have to do that to know what these folks are talking about, when they in there murmuring, they speaking a language that you don't understand. If you got them as servants, you probably want to understand that language, or you strip it away from them, like transatlantic slave trade. But go ahead.
Okay. Verse 15. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, The Lord will surely deliver us. This city shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus said the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and eat ye every one of his vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink ye every one the water of his own cistern. Okay. Verse 17. Until I come and take you away to a land like your own land, a land of corn and wine, a land of bread and vineyards. Beware lest Hezekiah persuade you, saying, The Lord will deliver us. Have any of the gods of the nation deliver us? Shall I deliver his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath and Hap, what is it? Harpad,
Arpad.
Off pod.
Harpad, Harpad. Where are the gods of Sepharvaim? And have they delivered Samaria out of my hand? It says, verse 20, who are they among all gods of this land? Have they delivered their land out of my hand? That the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of my hand? But they held their peace and answered him not a word, for the king's commandment was, saying, answer him not.
Yeah, you ain't gotta go back and forth with each joker, man. You ain't gotta go back and forth. But Assyria at this point, man, they done been conquering. That, you know what I'm saying? They've been conquering everybody. So, he talking big smack. Like, hey man, did they gods help them? Did the Hamath gods help them? The Seraphim gods help them? Come on, man. Y'all better lay it down. We'll bring y'all. Listen, we gonna bring you to a land that's just like yours, man. All right, it's gonna have the vineyards and so forth. Don't let this joker Hezekiah pump you up, man. We gonna destroy y'all, man. Don't try to trust in your God, man. But see, that's the thing about Hezekiah, and that's why he's so notable within the text, because he trusted in the Lord. And he was telling his people to trust in the Lord. All right, no matter what the odds look like, no matter what the numbers look like, we understand that this. We say this all the time on the dog story, to show the power of our God, of the one true God. Let's look at it in 2 Kings 18. We'll probably have to skip over a little bit, man, for time purposes. Well, yeah, we gonna need to skip over a little bit of that. But I only have a few more slides, y'all. Maybe like 2-3 more big reading slides. The rest of it was just pictures to show these reliefs. Like you go to these museums, you'll see these things with the Assyrians in Nineveh, these great wall reliefs. It'll show them, cutting our heads off, peeling our skin away. And they're humongous, wall reliefs. But they're all over. They're all over these museums. Maybe, if we have a little time, we can just Google a few of them. And we see our people in captivity on these reliefs. But all of this stuff is noted in history, is written on walls. Nobody's gonna deny that these things happen, and especially Hezekiah with having that tunnel down there. That's still in existence with writings inside of the tunnel. 2 Kings 18, we're gonna read 19 through 36. But like I
Second
said, we're gonna
King,
try to find 18 verse 19.
2 Kings 18, verse 19. And Rabshakeh said unto them, speak ye now to Hezekiah. Thus said the great king, the king of Assyria, what confidence is this wherein thou trustest? Thou sayest, but they are but vain words. I have counsel and strength for the war. Now on whom doest thou trust, that thou rebellest against me? Now behold, thou trustest upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, on which if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh king of Egypt unto all that trust on him. But if ye say unto me, we trust in the Lord our God, is
Shalaki,
not
we ain't
that
gotta read that. It's pretty much word for word. It's pretty much word for what we no, I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah. It's pretty much word for word what we read in Isaiah 35, 36. Isaiah 36. So it's pretty much word for word. So we ain't gotta go back over that. But you can just have that precept, the Isaiah 36 and 2 Kings 18. It's pretty much loading the same thing. Um, it's also in Second Chronicles 32 and 1. It says, after these things and these acts of faithfulness. Well, let's just read that real quick. I know that's another version there. And now we're gonna read this the first verse here. And again, these things are on the release. From these, this is really, um, them giving their side of the story. As far as the relief goes, these wall reliefs that's also inside of these museums. Well, we see Second Chronicles 32. Again, Assyria just invading. Just read the first verse again. Just invading Jerusalem.
This is Second Chronicles 32. After these things and the establishment thereof, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and entered into Judah and encamped against the fenced cities and thought to win them for himself.
You can keep going.
And when Hezekiah saw that Sennacherib was come and that he was proposed to fight against Jerusalem, he took counsel with his princes and his mighty men to stop the waters of the fountains which were without the city, and they did help him. So there was gathered much people together, who stopped all the fountains and the brook that ran through the midst of the land, saying, why should the king of Assyria come and find much water? And he strengthened himself and built up all the wall that was broken and raised it up to the towers and another wall without, and repaired Miloan, the city of David, and made darts and shields in abundance. And he set captains of war over the people and gathered them together to him in the street of the gate of the city, and spake comfortably to them, saying, be strong and courageous, be not afraid nor dismayed for the king of Assyria, nor for all the multitude that is with him, for there be more with us than with him. With
And
him
should I
is
could
an
go to
arm.
I was showing y'all that those tunnels, like I say, him blocking that water off. Those tunnels, that irrigation system is still there. But Hezekiah blocked the water. Why they gonna sit here and be encompassed around us, and be enjoying our water? So he ended up blocking that water off as a defense strategy. Let's look at 2 Kings 20 and 20. This is again about those pools. And this is another image here that y'all probably not gonna be able to see. Nope. But it's gonna talk about those pools also. And I think we actually gonna. Yeah, 2020, 2 Kings 2020. And just read that, and then it's gonna talk about the pools. Like I said, we had pictures and stuff, and that these pools and these irrigation systems still are still there, and which what I'm saying, that gives us that archaeological proof that the text is real. All right, that validates the text. You
You better read
mute.
it?
I think I was reading it, but you
Oh,
mute.
my bad, man.
No, you
I
good.
had it on mute, brother. It's Salakia. This is the book of 2 Kings 20 and 20, and the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might. And he had made a pool and conduit, and brought water into the city, where they not are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the kings of Judah?
All right, so we read a few of them in Chronicles. Let's look at 2 Kings 19. Yeah, we might have to skip around that. Second Kings, what we at, an hour already? Yeah, 2 Kings 19. with Hezekiah seeking the Lord's help.
At the
We're gonna read 1 through 19, but I may ask you just to go ahead and jump over some things for time's sake. We really need to read 19 and 20 and they'll close out the lesson, but we'll jump around a little bit.
19 and 20?
No, you're gonna read 1 through 19.
Ah, okay. This is 2 Kings 19 and 1. And it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household, and Shebna, the scribe, and the elders of the priests covered with sackcloth to Isaiah, the prophet, the son of Amos. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This day is a day of trouble, and a rebuke and blasphemy, for the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria his master had sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God hath heard. Wherefore lift up Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left. So the servants of the king Hezekiah came to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto him, Thus shall he say to your master, Thus saith the Lord, Be not afraid of the words which thou hast heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warning against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard say of Tirhakah, king of Ethiopia, behold, he is come out to fight against thee. He sent messengers again to Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God in whom thou trustest deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all lands, and destroying them utterly. And shalt thou be delivered? Have the gods of the nations delivered them which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Rezeph and the children of Eden, which were in Thessalar? Where is the king of Hamath and the king of Arpad?
All right, go
And
ahead, Shalaki. Go ahead and drop down to verse, because again, it's just another idle threat by the messenger. But they in the midst of battling. You know, it's really they really kind of getting a little desperate because they fighting Ethiopia now. The messenger went back and found out. Now they in you know what I'm saying, they in full battle mode with the king of Ethiopia, Taharka. Um, drop down to verse drop down to drop down to verse drop down to verse 14.
verse 14, Hezekiah received the letter of the hand of the messenger and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubims, thou art the God, even thou alone, all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Lord, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Lord, thine eyes and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which have sent him to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have destroyed the nations and their land, and have cast their gods into the fire, for there were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord our God, I beseech thee, save thou us out of his hand, that all the kingdom of the earth may know that thou art the Lord God, even thou only. Then Isaiah the son of Amos sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, that which thou hast prayed to me again, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, I have heard. This is the word that the Lord has spoken concerning him.
And Shalakia, if you can just imagine Hezekiah receiving these letters, and then he going into the temple to pray to the Father and spread those letters out. Maybe spread them out on the temple floor, and again prayed, cried out to the Most High. And now Isaiah is come to tell him, hey man, the Most High's he heard your prayers, man. He know what's going on. Go ahead, out.
This is the word of that the Lord has spoken concerning him. The virgin, the daughter of Zion, have despised thee and laughed thee to scorn, and the daughter of Jerusalem have shaken her head at thee. Whom hast thou reproached and blasphemed, and against whom hast thou exalted thy voice and lifted up thine eyes on high, even against the Holy One of Israel? By thy messenger thou hast reproached the Lord, and hast said, with the multitude of the chariots, I am come up to the height of the mountains, to the sides of Lebanon, and will cut down the tall cedar trees thereof, and the choice fir trees thereof, and I will enter into the lodgings of his borders, and into the forest of his Carmel. I have digged and drunk strange waters, and with the sole of my feet have I dried up all the rivers of besieged places. Hast thou not heard long ago how I have done it, and of ancient times that I have formed it? Now have I brought it to pass that thou shouldest be to lay waste fenced cities into ruinous heaps. Therefore their inhabitants were a small power. They were dismayed and confounded. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green herb, as the grass on the housetops, and as the corn blasted before it blasted before it be grown up. But I know thy abode, and thy going out, and thy coming in, and thy rage against me, because thy rage against me and thy tumult is come up into my ears. Therefore I will put my hook in thy nose, and
Mm.
my bridle in thy lips, and I will turn thee back by the way which thou comest. You have some?
No, no, no. I was just talking about, he's gonna put them hooks in his nose and so forth. Go ahead.
And this shall be a sign unto thee. Ye shall eat this year such things as grow on themselves, and in the second year that which springeth of the same. And in the third year sow ye, and reap, and plant vineyards, and eat the fruits thereof. And the remnant that is escaped of the house of Judah shall yet again take root downward, and bear fruit upward. For out of Jerusalem shall go forth a remnant, and they that escape out of Mount Zion, the zeal of the Lord of the hosts shall do this. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore, thus saith the Lord concerning the king of Assyria: He shall not come into this city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into this city, saith the Lord. For I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Lord went out and smote in the camp of the Assyrians 184,500. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead, corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt in Nineveh.
Come on, we ain't got to fight these battles, man. You know what I'm saying? We talk about that a lot too, man. It's just how much has to go on to protect you, man. How many things? Because life is so fragile, man. How many things have to happen for you to make it home? Because just one lack of concentration, just one lack, just one mistake, man, could cost you your life, man. To
Kind.
cost you your life, man. And so we can let the Lord fight these things. This is also listed in Isaiah 37. 36 is the exact precept for the 185,000 kill. Of course, it's in Isaiah because we seen Isaiah there giving him the prophecy from the Lord what was going to actually happen. You had some up?
Who, me?
Yeah, I thought you might have
No,
had. Okay,
I was just agreeing with you.
okay, con. So we don't have to fight these battles, man. We can cry out to the Lord, man, and He can fight these, especially these spiritual battles. Especially these spiritual battles, man. We had to cry out to the Lord and trust in the Lord to get us out of these things. Isaiah 20. I mean, 2 Kings 20. I'm sorry, y'all. 2 Kings 20, 1 through 10. So even when that
Okay.
thing looked bad, Hezekiah held his ground, man, and trusted in the Lord. Even when the idol threats, we talking about America, man. We talking about something a superpower even bigger than America. They had done ran through everybody. All right, they had done ran through everybody, and with the Most High having them fighting these Ethiopians, that made them stagnant, made them stand still, and then the angel of the Lord comes in, kills close to 200,000, man, and they wake up in the morning and ain't nothing but dead corpses around, and then they go into Nineveh, and then that's why we see all these wall reliefs um, in Nineveh.
Uh, this is the book 2 Kings 20 and verse 1. And it reads, in those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And the prophet Isaiah the son of Amos came to him and said unto him, thus said the Lord, set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live.
Mm.
Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. And it came to pass afar Isaiah was gone out in the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thus said the Lord, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up into the house of the Lord, and I will add unto thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hands of the kings of Assyria. And Shalakia, the Most High telling you, I'm gonna give you 15 more years to live, man.
He,
Yeah, man.
he initially told you gone though.
Yeah, he
You
told
know,
you go.
he,
He said,
you
I'm
know,
gonna give you
he,
15.
most of us don't know when we gonna go with it.
Yeah, man.
Hezekiah, and
He got
Hezekiah wasn't ready, man.
yeah, he was ready, man. Yeah, hey, man, I feel Hezekiah, man. I'm going to cry and serve to the Lord too, man.
Yeah,
Tell me,
man.
Lord.
He said,
I,
"Remember, man. Remember that
yeah,
I've been good,
I,
man.
yeah,
Give
man.
me a little more time. Give me a little more time."
Hey, man. Hey, sometimes you gotta just bring things to the Lord memory, man. Hey, Lord,
Yep.
I want honestly in front of you, Lord. Come on, now. Yeah, God. and and I will defend this city for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. And Isaiah said, take a lump of figs, and they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, what shall be the sign that the Lord will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of the Lord the third day? And Isaiah said, this sign shalt thou have of the Lord, that the Lord will do the things that he hath spoken. Shall the shadow go forth 10 degrees and go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, it is a light thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Nay, but let the shadow return backwards 10 degrees.
Con and like I said, I had some images. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And this is one of the last slides, y'all. We about to close out. But let me see if I can share my screen and find those sundials. Here you go. Can y'all see my screen?
Okay.
Y'all see that? And so that was they found these artifacts, most intact of the dead tree. This supposed sundial was found at the same time of the ancient scrolls. Anyway, that thing get in the way? Okay. So you see how that shadow there? That's what they used to measure time. They had a ring in here and markings inside of each ring. They could know the time and the months and the days and so forth. But when that shadow went, if he can make that shadow come down, he can make that shadow go back. It's just showing you that he's reversed time with that shadow. All right, that's what he's telling them. Like, can the shadow go back 10 degrees? He said, man, that's a light thing. So that was gonna be the sign that he's gonna see the shadow go back and on that dial, and he'll know that the Lord gave him that time back. Where we was at? 12 or 11? It was at 11.
So, yeah, come on, 11. You want to finish reading?
Yeah, Con.
Okay. Verse 11. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards, but by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. At the time, what is Baruch Akabalah, one of them, and his son.
That's a king.
Can you read that?
Yeah. I'm trying to find a little jump space for us. We seen the time part. Let's drop down to verse 14.
Verse 14. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they into thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country, even from Babylon. And he said, what have they seen in thy house? And Hezekiah answered, all the things that are in my house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasure that I have not showed them. And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord. Behold, the days come that all that is in thy house, and that which thy father have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, said the Lord.
And Shalaki, is something very important there. The king of Babylon, in verse 12, heard that Hezekiah was sick. And he sent a letter down there, sent presents down there. And then we see envoys of the Babylonians coming in, after he done showed them around and so forth. And now the Most High is telling them, giving him this final message before he go to sleep. We're gonna finish out this chapter and then we done.
Verse 18. and of thy son thou shalt issue from thee, which thou shalt begat, shall they take away, and they shall be Enoch in the place of the king of Babylon. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. And he said, it not good if peace and truth be in my days? And the rest of the acts of Hezekiah and all his might, and how he had made a pool, a conduit, and brought water into the city, where they not written in the book of the chronicles of the king of Judah. And Hezekiah slept with his fathers, and Manasseh his son reigned in his stead.
Con. And so we see, Isaiah coming, all times the prophets coming, ain't always good news. He's coming to tell them, hey man, y'all about to go into captivity into Babylon. Of course, we know the northern kingdom went into captivity to the Syrians. But here, we getting that final thing before Hezekiah goes to rest. And that's probably why he was telling them, hey man, you know what, it's time to go. Because the Most High had this timeline, like, hey, it's about time for me to go ahead and take them and make this move here and da 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 da. But um Isaiah comes back and Hezekiah takes the information. He says, is it not good if peace and truth be in my days? Like, hey man, we were straight during my time. We had peace and security. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it down, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't that bad news, but um, of course, once his sons get in there, that Babylon captivity ends up, what I'm saying, coming with that, telling us that our sons are gonna be eunuchs um in the Babylonian kingdom. And we know, with Jeremiah coming out of that exile and out of that, and the book of Daniel's, during that period and so forth. But that was it, man. Just a little briefing on King Hezekiah. We go over certain other, we go over a few of these notable kings. But Hezekiah is definitely one that did get a lot of ink. So, we go over these things, and we recognize these kings, from these different sides, I think all we really know is they have, with Jezebel. That's one of the most popular. But we don't, but that's not on the. It's not a notable. He wasn't a good king, man. But yeah, if anybody got anything else, man, that was it, y'all. Trusting in the Lord. That's what we take from that, man. Trusting in the Lord, having that Hezekiah trust. Anybody got anything on it?
Yeah, kind. I
No.
want to ask. I want to ask a question. That spirit, man, with the angels, that lion spirit that he put in the mouth of the prophets. Second Thessalonians 2:10 speak of something sort of like that. I want to see your thought on that. What you think that be the same spirit um, in the New Testament? Second Thessalonians 2 verse 10, and it reads. It says, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness and them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this cause God shall send them strong delusions, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned, who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. So does that seem like that same spirit? Like when your heart goes around with God, God see you that spirit of delusion that you should believe a lie.
I think I don't know if it's the same. I just don't know. If it's the same spirit. I'm just saying I don't know if it's the same spirit or not. Um, but I do. I just want to give this reference of just a father, man. Just raising kids, man. trying to discipline kids, man. Sometimes, man, you just let them do it. You just like, man, yeah, go ahead and do it, man. Go ahead. But you finna pop them because they should know better than to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I done told you not to do it so many times, and then you still gonna ask me, can you do it? Go ahead, man. Go on do it. Nah, you can. You sure? You sure you can? I go ahead. Yeah. And then you got. I told you 1,000 times you can have that thing. But you see here that that he's giving them over to this thing, so it could be that same spirit. But man, they love the lie. That's Thessalonians, man. They already love the lie. They didn't like the truth. Uh, they loved that lie, and he just gave them over to that. But it's the same kind of operation. I would say
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same kind of operation, but I can't say if it's the. I don't even know who the spirit was in the Chronicles. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I
Right.
I can't really, I can't really tell you, but um yeah, it kind of has
Right.
like the same operations. It's dealt there for the same purpose almost.
Purpose. It's the same tone. And you see
Right.
it, and you see it also in Second Kings. I think that's 20 as well. I think that was Ahab too, man. Yeah, that was Ahab. The same story. In Second Kings 20 and let's get Second Kings. No, I think it's First Kings. Shalakia. I think it's First Kings 22 and First Kings 22 and verse 19. First Kings 22 and 19. And he said, "Hear thou therefore the words of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and the host of heaven standing by him on his right hand and his left hand. And the Lord said, Who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramallah? How you pronounce it?
Moth
Ramatha,
have Gilead.
yeah, Ramatha had Gilead. And one said on this manner, and another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, Wherewith? And he said, I will go forth and will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, Thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. So that's the same. That's the same thing you see, right? That's what you was reading earlier. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the. It seems like it's almost the same tone when we refuse to hearken to what God say do, and yeah, like you said, a father with his kid, keep seeing him put your hand in a light socket, man. I'm gonna go ahead and make that light socket seem like a tootsie roll, and you gonna go play with it and get shocked the mess out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. It's two
Seem
ways
like
to
the same.
learn.
Seem like the same spirit. I mean, not the same spirit per se, but it seems like it's the same. It's the same situation. You know what I mean?
Right. Nah, I agree. I definitely agree. Um, did anybody have anything else, brother Dion? You had anything, or you good?
I'm good.
We gonna go ahead and close that thing on out. Again, man, having that trust, like Hezekiah, man. He even trusted and pull that clock back. But I don't know, man. I kind of got disappointed with Hezekiah when he had to ask for a sign. I kind of like, come on, man.
Where's
But
your faith at? Right.
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, man. About the because he told him to boil some figs and put it on the to put it on that boil. And if you look at, not trying to make logic, but those figs do have an anti-aging agent to them. If you look at anti-aging creams, most of them have figs in it. But again, not trying to make, because you can't make sense out of that time, that shadow getting pulled back. Um, and even if you can rub a million figs on you right now, organic. and you probably you will not get no extra 15 years on your life.
Yeah.
I see jokers now, man. Man, go get some of those fees from the farmer market and
Yeah,
put it on
man.
that sore. Rub it on that sore. Boil it and
Yeah.
rub it on the. Yeah, make an ointment out of that thing. But I remember in the backyard, you can pull that thing off, and a little cream would come out the stem of that. But man, get us on up out of here, man. I hope this thing was edifying to the body, man. Y'all be blessed.
Man.
We had class on Friday on Bring It Out TV. So make sure y'all like, subscribe here and there, and we'll see y'all then. Y'all willing.
Hey man, y'all pray
Shalom.
for
Y'all be
safe
blessed.
travels, man. I'll be leaving Florida. I'll be leaving Friday morning. So,
We're definitely
All
sending up
right,
those
bro.
prayers for
Yeah, send the
safe
prayers, man.
travels and
con,
Man.
for the body, man.
con.
Man. Be safe on the road, brother.
No question, huh?
All right, man. Shalom, brothers.
Shalom.
All right, so.
Shalom.